Hello, everyone. The text that I chose for the Three Worlds project was Matthew 16, verses 1 through 12. Um, the historical world that I found, or some of the stuff in the historical world that I found, is um, Jesus, he's in the region of Magdan, and he's being questioned by the Pharisees and the Sadducees, who pretty much are the complete opposite of Jesus' ministry. Um, they are considered the religious experts at the time, the teachers and the interpreters of God's law. And they actually look pretty much down on those that aren't upper class. They label people with diseases and stuff as unclean. Um, the differences that I noticed between the Sadducees and the Pharisees, I had to look it up. The Sadducees only accepted the written law of God. They didn't do none of the traditions, so they didn't believe in like ghosts or spirits or anything like that. While the Pharisees, they observed the traditions and the written law, and they were mostly backed by the common people. It says they were more democratic. Now, in this scene, and this is the literary world, Jesus is traveling to Magdan, and this is after he feeds 4,000 men, excluding women and children, with just 7 loaves of bread and some fish. And the Pharisees and Sadducees, they come before him and pretty much say, do a heavenly miracle, something, make an eclipse or something like that, is pretty much what the Noab states. It's a cosmic event, is what they interpret as the sign from heaven. And he pretty much tells them no, he's not going to do what they wish for, and that he gives them an analogy, or gives them he tells them that they can interpret, the weather and the sky and all that, but they can't interpret the times. And so the only sign that they will get is the sign of Jonah, which the Noab also says they believe it is his resurrection, Jesus' burial and resurrection. So that will be when they know that he's really the Son of God. And then after that, after he talks to the Pharisees and Sadducees, he ends up leaving them and going back to finding his disciples and telling them to, be wary of their yeast. And part of this is they think, oh, we forgot, the bread that we fed all those people with before we left it behind. And so Jesus, hears them talking, and he corrects them, and he tells them, no, don't beware of the bread of the Pharisees, beware of the yeast. And pretty much they realize, oh, he's telling us we need to be wary of their teachings, because what the Noab states yeast is it's a metaphor for teaching, but teaching that has a capacity to corrupt everything which it comes into contact with. So that's the literary that I got from this. And then the contemporary world is, I believe this text relates to many things in modern times. For example, the Pharisees and Sadducees, you can point them out as people who, sit on their high horse and judge others just for the way they look and, what they've done in their past life and everything. Another bridge to modern times is that if, Jesus appeared nowadays and claimed who he was and was performing miracles, then, there would probably be some modern leaders of the world who doubted that he was really the Son of God and questioned him on things, just like the Sadducees and Pharisees. And then another thing I found was another thing I related was the Sadducees themselves. They actually, they only followed the written law of the Old Testament, so they denied certain parts of the book, the Torah and everything. And that can essentially be like people nowadays who only follow Jesus's ministry when it's beneficial to them or when it's convenient on their time, and not following it all the time. And then one last thing that I found was where Jesus warns his disciples about the teachings of the Pharisees and Sadducees. That can definitely be related to today's world, because essentially there is a lot of people out there who don't practice what they preach, and they are doing the wrong thing and leading others astray and all of that. So you have to be careful who you follow and who you trust. And pretty much that's everything I got from the three worlds. I hope everyone else has a good day.